Let's talk about how to prep your skin for makeup and set yourself up for success. This is the first video in a little reboot of my own video series that I started years ago, and I was calling it, Why Come No One Told Me That? And I would go through the basics of makeup and explain just the things that people don't always know that I think are very helpful. The only problem is, not only have I learned new things over the years, the name of that series has got to go. The number of people that did not understand that Why Come No One Told Me That is just exercising my poetic license with the English language and would comment saying, it shouldn't be why come no one told me that, it's actually why did no one tell me that, and like sincerely just thought that I didn't know, made me feel big feelings. I just really couldn't handle it anymore. So I've been trying actually for years to think of a new name, and I've got absolutely nothing. The only thing I can think of is changing the name to What the Heck, Man? So without further ado, welcome to the first ever episode of What the Heck, Man? Why did no one tell me that? Or some other name, if you think of one, just let me know in the comments. Even the best formulated foundation or concealer is just not going to look good or last well on top of skin that was not prepared for the experience. I'm gonna break this down into 3 key factors that we wanna address. Skin texture / health, distribution and level of hydration and oil on the skin, and third, extra little helper guys. Number 1, skin texture and health. If you have things like acne or dry skin texture, there are certain foundation formulas that are more forgiving and will look better, but nothing is going to change the fact that there's a texture issue at play. I have more in-depth videos on skin health and this topic in general, and I will continue to make more because it's something I have dealt with personally a lot, and as a professional, something that I have had to address with people. But for the sake of specifically skin prep, I will say this. Add a gentle chemical exfoliant into your skincare routine. A solid standby that I have used for years and years and years and recommended a million times is the Paula's Choice 2% salicylic acid. There's a lot more on the market now too. I like recommending that one because I have very reactive skin and I've had a lot of problems with my skin. And so even if a brand sent me skincare stuff, I'm very hesitant to recommend things that I haven't tried like a million times and recommended a million times and seen feedback from people that I'm working with and stuff. And using a chemical exfoliant, especially as opposed to like a manual exfoliant like a scrub, is just a very even, uniform, science-based way to loosen up the dead skin on your face and help it to come off so that you can have a nice, smooth texture and canvas for your products to go on top of. If you're dealing with another skin health issue that affects your texture, like acne, I cannot recommend going to see a dermatologist enough. I didn't know for a long time that acne is like an actual medical problem that insurance will cover if you have insurance. The United States of America, it's rough out here if you need medical care. But if you have health insurance, a dermatologist treating acne is usually covered. I really wish I would have known that sooner because I thought that dermatologists were like a rich people thing. And now I have acne scarring that will never really fully go away because I didn't know that I could have gotten treatment for it, like medical treatment for it, which I did need. Sometimes you can handle it on your own. Sometimes you need to actually get it treated. I was in that situation and I wish I would have done it sooner. I'll link some more of my videos about acne in case you're dealing with that and you need some more information. Number 2, evening out the level of moisture and oil on your face. I'm a big proponent of doing what makes you happy. So I personally like the less is more approach to complexion products for myself. But I also don't want people that like a full beat to feel like they're doing it wrong. If you like what you're doing, fucking do that. I'm so happy for you. If you're concerned about the longevity of your makeup or the texture of it looking very natural, then I do think less is more is a helpful thing to go by. Even if you want a dramatic look, working in light layers, I think is just beneficial to making things last. There's a lot of skincare routines that are like many, many layers of products under the makeup, and I like to be strategic with the layers under the makeup. We've got a spectrum, right? The drier your skin is, the more hydrating of a product you need to put on before makeup. The oilier your skin is, the less hydrating it needs to be. Aren't you glad I'm making this video? Why the heck did nobody tell you that? My dry skin babies, you want to put on some emollient creams. You want to get in there and make sure that you're sort of saturating those dry parts so that they don't soak up the makeup and get blotchy, right? And if you've got really oily skin, you might want more of like a light gel type formula. For dry skin types, I really like the Kiehls Ultra Facial Cream, And then for combination medium and oily skin types, I actually really like the CeraVe Moisturizing Lotion. It's not like a fancy one. It is hydrating, but it's a lightweight formula and it absorbs pretty quickly into the skin. I recommend moisturizing a few minutes before you put on your makeup. If you put moisturizer or sunscreen on in the morning, but then you didn't put makeup on until the afternoon or something, I recommend reapplying those steps 5 to 15 minutes beforehand. Give it a minute to kind of soak up and not be so slick. For dry skin and for medium skin, I really love the Hawaiian Tropics Face Factor. I did not grab it to bring in this room and show you or fully remember exactly the name, but it's like the Hawaiian Tropics Face something. It's not Face Factor. That's my favorite sunscreen of all time was discontinued years ago and I'm still furious about it. It was the Kiss My Face Face Factor. But one that I love and have used many tubes of is the Hawaiian Tropics. Jesus fucking Christ, I'll just look it up. I'll just look it up right now. Hawaiian Tropics Silk Hydration Weightless Face Sunscreen SPF 30. This one. I think that one works really well under makeup. Obviously, everybody's skin is different and people can react to things, but in my experience, as someone with very, very sensitive skin, it doesn't burn my face most of the time unless my skin's really sensitive, and even then it's still manageable as far as sunscreens go. I've purchased many bottles in the last few years, and for oily skin, I actually don't have a current sunscreen favorite that has a lightweight texture, so I would love to hear your guys' recommendations in the comments. And number 3, little extra helper, guys. We're talking primers, right? I will say this, I don't use primers most of the time. Most of the time, the thing doing the priming is the moisturizer and sunscreen. There are certain situations where it may be beneficial to use like a silicone-based primer to fill in some texture issues, or if you've got oily skin, to use a mattifying primer. Just know that the ingredients in those types of primers that are like kind of to fill pores or to absorb oil can be fickle with foundation formulas, so you may have to do some trial and error. A lightweight one that I do like is this Rare Beauty one that I picked up pretty recently, full disclosure, so I haven't tested it out as much as like the CeraVe moisturizer, the products I've been using for like a decade, but I have found this to be like a nice lightweight foundation under foundation for oilier skin types. This is the Pore Diffusing Primer. And then another one that I've liked over the years is the Hourglass Mineral Veil. In the testing that I've done, I have found that primers, and I'm separating them from moisturizers. Some primers are called a primer. They are a moisturizer called a primer, but they're moisturized. They're the same ingredients that are in moisturizers. So I don't really consider those primers in my head. I kind of lump those into one category. But primers that are like, have silicones in them, are kind of mattifying, have these different properties that are separate properties from what a moisturizer would do. Sometimes they're marketed as like controlling texture issues. I don't think that those are particularly helpful for texture issues like dryness. I think if you're dealing with texture that's dry, it's better to do moisture. And if you're dealing with texture issues like enlarged pores or oil control, then a primer might be appropriate. I would love to hear your skin prep tips as well as your favorite products, so please let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys for another video soon, and the next installment of What the Heck, Man? Why did nobody tell me that?